Here we will learn some good tips and tricks about name ranges in Microsoft Excel. So let us start. As you know, as an Excel user, you know that every cell has a name and it has its own address. So for example, currently I am actively on cell D3, right? So this is the address of the cell where I am presently active on this current spreadsheet. So, for example, if I want to change the name of this cell address, it's very simple. I have to go to this name box and I have to type a new name which I want to give, and I will press enter key. So whenever I will return back to D3, now the name box is showing instead of D3. It shows a name that is called Shubham, right? So what I did is I changed the name of this current cell address, and this is the one cell address we have changed. We can also do with an array or a range or a group of cells. So for example, if I select an array and I want to give this particular array a name, so I will again go to this name box. For example, I will type finance. So I have given this name range as finance and in my current spreadsheet, right? So you can give many names as you want and there is no limitation to it. But the names could not be a duplicate, and in the name ranges you are not allowed to include the space. So for example, if I want to give this name range a name which is called Shubham Patel, so I cannot add a space in this name range because Excel will give me a warning that you must enter a valid reference you want to go to or type a valid name for this selection. So you can type Shubham Patel together, or you can also do Shubham underscore Patel. Okay. So as soon as you give as many name ranges to your spreadsheet, all these name ranges are stored. And you can also use them in the formulas or function later on. So if we go to the formulas tab here, and when you click on name manager, so whatever all the name ranges you have created will be listed here on this dialog window of name manager. So from here, from this window, if you want to rename any name range or you want to edit the location, you can do it. And also you can delete the name ranges you would if you would like to. Okay. So there is one way possible way of recalling the name ranges is very easy for that. For example, you create a 10, 12 or 15 name ranges on your spreadsheet, and if you want to use them in your formulas or function, so you want to reach that particular name range, so you will have to go to a name box and click on this drop down. And when you click on it, all the name ranges will be available on your spreadsheet. It will be listed down here. So whenever you click on any of the name range, Excel will let you to that current name range area, right? This is the one way of accessing the name ranges. The other way is already I told you that you can go to the formulas tab and click on name manager, and where you will find all the name ranges and you can add or delete or create a new one. This is the second way of accessing all your name ranges within this workbook. The third way is there is a shortcut key which is called F3. Okay. So when you press F3, function key F3, there will be a dialog window, paste name will appear. And what you can do is click on the paste list button. So when you click on paste list, Excel will give you all the name ranges, names and their respective locations. So this is how, for example, if you are creating a financial model or if you are creating an MIS report or any business reporting model, so whenever you create 20, 30, 40 name ranges, you want to have a list of that as well, so that you can use later on with the other functions. So it's a good practice to have to store a list in a separate sheet where you are aware that what kind of name ranges are. So this is one of the way. The shortcut key is F3 and you have to click on paste list, right? The fourth one, the fourth way of accessing the name ranges is that you know that whenever you open a spreadsheet, your spreadsheet is by default 100% zoom. And when you go to this application interface, bottom right side, you will find a percentage and a zoom in and zoom out buttons as well. So when you click on zoom percentage, a zoom dialog window will appear here. And in the custom area, if you add a number below 40, it could be 39, it could be 38. So for example, if I write 39 here and I will press OK, so as soon as I enter 39, you can see that your spreadsheet is on 39% zoom. And the advantage of making it below 40 is that the name ranges appears on the spreadsheet. So as you can see that finance and Shubham underscore Patel. So this is one of the good way of locating your name ranges. You can see with your naked eyes when you do zoom below 40. So all the name ranges will appear as a watermark and you can see easily that what or which kind of name range is appear on in which area on my spreadsheet. So this is one of the way of navigating and accessing your name ranges on this spreadsheet. So there are four ways of accessing the name ranges. One of the advantages is that, for example, if I write some numbers and I want to do a sum in the other area of the spreadsheet, or for example, in a new sheet, so whenever I apply any kind of formula or a function, for example, if I want to do some of these numbers or if I am using VLOOKUP or any other thing. So let's say I have to go to the data source. I need to select the data and then I need to close this parenthesis and I will get the sum of all these numbers. But for example, before before applying any function, if I can make a name of this particular array. So for example, if I give a name of balances, right? So for example, now I will apply the sum function and I know that I have given a name that is called balances. So as soon as I write some initials, you can see that here you can see that here there is a small icon of table and balances is written here. This is our name range and we can call it. So as soon as I press the tab key, the balances has been typed completely by Excel and automatically that particular range has been selected. So I don't need to go to the data source every time and select the range and come back to the function. So it's very easy when you create the name range. You don't have to go to the data source again and again for selecting from a different sheet or from different array within a particular worksheet, right? For example, if I use average, so I can call balances now. For example, if you forget that name range you have given, so there is an easy way. You just need to press a shortcut key that is called F3. So when you press F3, a paste name window will appear. And from here, you can just select the right name range which you want to be add in your function. So press OK and you can see that the range has been selected automatically. Remember that all the name ranges which you create are by default absolute at the backend. So these are absolute references. All the name ranges are absolute. Now the last technique about the name ranges is that, for example, if I have a data, right, and I have a lot of columns in my data and I want to create a name range for each of the column. So the first way of doing that is, for example, I will select the first column, entire column, and I will go to the name box and give it a neat and nice name, right? And then I will go to the second column. I will select the entire second column and I will again go to the name box and I will go to the name manager and I will click new to give a name of this particular column as a name range. Then I will select the third column, fourth column, and so on. And that will take a lot of time when doing it, because in my data source, there are more than 15 or 20 columns, and that will take around 8 to 10 minutes. So what is the quickest way of giving each of the column name a separate as a name range within a few seconds? So let me tell you that technique. What you are required to do is first select your entire data source. Okay. So select the entire data source or database, and in the formulas tab, click on create from selection. So when you click on create from selection, this window is asking that this particular feature will give each of your column a name, but from where all those names could be picked. So we are saying to this create names from selection that give each of the column a separate name, and that name will be picked from the top row, because we know that every data source first row contains the titles. So each of the column will be assigned a name, and that name will be picked by the top row of this data. So I have check mark on the top row and I will press OK. And when I press OK, then when I go to name manager, so you can see that within a second, all the columns have been assigned with a proper name, and this is how you have done this smart technique within 1 or 2 seconds. So whenever you have this kind of a requirement where you have a data source and you want to assign each of the column a separate name, you can use a create from selection and option of top row, where within a second, within 1 or 2 seconds, each of the column name will be assigned. And then you can use all these name ranges in your functions like sum ifs, count ifs, VLOOKUP, sum, and that could be very easy for you to don't go to the data source again and again, and that will give you an advantage. And one more way is that when you convert your data source, when you convert your database, basically, when you convert your database into a table format, so whenever a new data will get append, your name ranges will get also updated automatically. So that's one more technique you need to consider, because at this point of time, this data source is not being converted into a table. So for example, next week, if more data will come, so you need to make sure that your name range would be updated. But if you convert this database into a table format, if you convert this into a data source into a table format, it is very easy. Go to insert tab and click on table. So whenever your new data source will get append, your name range will automatically get updated. And you don't need to change anything in your functions or formulas. So I hope you like this video and all the techniques related to the name ranges. Thank you.